Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Boardroom. We've been doing the Boardroom now for about 7 years. John Brown and I were sitting, and it may even be more than 7 years because I think I've been saying 7 for a while now. But anyways, we were sitting around talking. We've both been in a CEO club. John said for 20 years. It's more like 30 years now, John. It's been a long time. John's been on my board of directors for that amount of time. But we were watching the Shark Tank and thinking, you know, this is really entertaining, but it's not as educational. And we wanted to create an activity that's both networking, fun, and educational. So we came up with the Boardroom. In the Boardroom, we do kind of a mastermind. We're going to have a presenter that comes up. She'll have 15 minutes to talk about her business idea. And then the panel will ask 15 minutes. You have 15 minutes to do that. Then you have 15 minutes worth of questions. And John, since you're new, questions means questions, no advice during that period of time, so just questions. Then we go to 15 minutes of advice. So during that time, Adina can't say anything at all. She has to just stand here with her mouth closed, no questions, and they will give advice or suggestions, whatever. One of the best parts of it is after the panel is through there, we then go to the audience. So then the audience can ask, I'm sorry, you can't ask questions, but you can state anything you like. Do you like the idea? What do you think about it? What do you think would make it better? Whatever you think. If you're watching us live, on the live stream on Facebook, you can post your questions there and we will ask it out loud as well. So that's how the Boardroom works. We are not making a pitch for securities. This is just for educational purposes only. If you're an accredited investor and you would like to get more information, then you can go to the owner and get that information from her with the proper signed legal documents. So this is not a pitch for securities, for educational purposes only. And without further ado, I'm really proud tonight because I like, diversity. I like to see women be successful in business. I like to see everyone be successful in business. And for our first time ever, we have a repeat presenter. And she's not presenting even though it said on the board, see here, you're not presenting see here again, right? You are presenting see here again. Okay, we're presenting see here again. I was confused. She comes up with tons of business ideas, though. She's a very smart lady, and without further ado, please welcome Adina up to the stage. Give her a warm round of applause.
Thanks. Thank you. Well, it's good to be here tonight. I'm glad to see the panelists. You do have the little files in front of you, and you're welcome to take notes. And I think I left some extra information in there in case you had any other questions, if I don't get it covered in 15 minutes. So to begin this tonight, I'd like to call on Denise. And she's coming up, I've asked Thomas if anybody's interested in using a blindfold tonight. We're not going to do bird box. We're actually going to just cover our eyes, close them. If you're interested, you don't have to do it. And what I want you to do, I want you to be able to listen to a website. We're going to be using JAWS Screen Reader. And you will experience sort of what someone who is visually impaired has to listen to. So I'm going to let you sit down here. And you get the honors of covering your own eyes.
Okay. Leave my glasses on or take them off?
It's up to you. Can you do it? I didn't want to mess her makeup up. So I always let the lady do it herself. So, everybody ready? Now the reason why I want you to keep your eyes closed, even with the bandana on, is because you will experience it a little different if you're not getting the lights coming through the bandana. You will actually when you have your eyes closed, you'll hear better. So let me see.
Banner region, Red Robin parent site link, Red Robin dash online ordering, main region, enter street address or zip code, edit, street address or zip code, type in text. Enter street address or zip code, edit, 76244 Enter. Red Robin dash online ordering. Main region. Enter street address or zip code. Go button. Locations near you. Locations near you dash red 7 6 2 4 4. Enter. Menu 7 6. Leaving menus. Table. Column 4. Row 2. Locations near you dash Red Robin. Main region. Option. Column 4. Row 2. Red Robin Presidio dash order online dash.
Okay, take them off. We'll go back. When you were listening, did you see what they were saying? Right there? Did you see the hamburger? Did anybody see a hamburger being described? So, what does a person who is visually impaired get when they go to a website that is not compliant? This is what they get. They don't get to see that. They just get to hear all the text. We found a solution for that. That's what See Here has done. Thank you.
That's awesome.
I wanted you to experience that.
Wow.
Back here. So what did we do? See Here was founded in 2015. We had an idea. I didn't even start out with ADA. What I wanted to do was to create an image with sound. In doing so, we found out it was useful for a lot more purposes, a lot more. So what we did was we went to, I think Taha's here. Taha, he's back in the back. We went to Taha and said, can you build us a prototype? Taha's like, okay, we can do this. We took it to some attorneys. And then we wrote out the whole idea of what we wanted to do with it. Lord and behold, if we didn't find out that we could use it for medical, we could use it for education, we could use it for security, we could use it for blockchain, we could use it for multiple. It has many uses. So what else I wanted was an audible meme. And for those who don't know what a meme is, does everybody know what a meme is? Okay, for those who don't, a meme is a picture with words written on it. Well, I wanted one that made sound because I was working for a NASCAR driver, David Reagan, and I was paying Bukudos to put up a video, a picture. And most people watch less than 13 seconds of a video unless they're engaged because it's a cute kid or a dog. Let's be real. Everybody likes dogs, and everybody likes cute kids laughing. So I said, how can I have a picture with just the sound without all the text on the picture? Because if you send something to Facebook, they will send it back to you saying, too much text on it, and they'll reject your ad. So then I said, okay, so what do we do? So that's when we came up with the embedded picture. So then we went to our attorneys and we filed for our patent. And this is where it's different than last time. We received our patent. And that's good news for us because now we can go out and tell everybody how great our technology is. And then we found out we got an invitation to South by Southwest. That's the other thing that's different from last time. We didn't have those. We were waiting to hear about our patent, which we filed, I think it was in 2017, and we received it in 2018. And that's pretty good. So I got to tell you, great patent attorneys, and that's Mike Wilson Mandela and Greg Howson over there. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So who are we going after? We thought, well, let's go after the ADA market because we found out that people who are blind and they get that JAWS reader or screen reader, that's the screen reader. There's also one called Fang. It only reads the text. They don't get the description of an image. So their world, they're locked out of really participating on the internet, the same as you and I do, because we see it and hear it at the same time. Now, someone who has had auditory, has problems hearing, they get to read the text, which is the closed caption which came along, which has been really great for them. But for the visually impaired, they just get the JAWS screen reader, and you heard it for yourself. That was an actual reading of a website. And most sites right now are not compliant. So we found a solution to help people's website become compliant. By adding See Here technology to their website, they will be able to have their images be described. And We also, by doing that, we've opened up a new space for people who are looking to be able to describe an image to someone who is blind. It's a whole new industry that didn't exist, because how do you describe a hamburger? How do you describe a man in a boat? Right now, some websites will tell you, describe a picture, and it will be based on alt text. And so you'll get 2 or 3 words that describe a picture. But that hamburger didn't know. You didn't know that you were going to get to go to other stuff, the appetizers, the main courses, anything. So by doing what we've created, you would actually be able to hear what the description of those pictures are on the website. Basically, we're becoming an internet disruptor, because this technology, if you were to do it today, the only way to do it is by adding sound, an image, and creating a movie file. We know that video files, why do you need a single image with sound and save it as a movie? It's huge. When you save an MP movie file, it's a huge file. Ours is the exact same size as the video, as the picture, which could be 200K, and the exact same size as the audio, 34K. You got 234. That's what you have. Same picture, same sound, save it as video, you're more likely to be about 5 megabytes when it's saved. So we're actually creating a smaller digital footprint in the world, which is very important for those who are looking to save on their phone. No, everybody takes pictures, everybody has recordings, and it's like, okay, it's downloading, and then they're saving it, they're taking more pictures. Before you know it, you've used up your file unless you pay for cloud space. Now you don't need to do that. You take a picture, add sound, and you've got what you call a CHM file. So back to the C here. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Can you? Okay. So right now, there's 7 million blind people on the internet. And you just heard what they experience. We are looking to license our technology to Adobe, to WordPress. We're building an actual plug-in. That's a widget, a little plug-in that goes in whenever you want to put a picture with sound. And by doing that, what we'll do is, this is what we're looking for, is to create a WordPress plug-in. We're looking to develop it. By doing that, the web owners then can have their people, whoever their web developer is, the website developer is, and if they use WordPress, which most of them do, 31% of websites run on WordPress. So we're looking to create a plugin for them right off the bat, because there are, I think there's close to, I think there's like 85 million WordPress users. WordPress sites. Well, the users are actually the people that do the websites for people. And so what we're looking for is we're looking to raise $660,000, and that will get us our actual WordPress plugin to market. But we'd like to have $1 million. The reason why is because we know with technology, there's always something comes up. And we want to be in a position, we don't need the whole $1 million right off the bat, but we want to be able to go back to our investor to say, we need some help here, and we know that we have that opportunity to do that with them. So our competition, the truth of the matter is our competition is a single image and a video file. That's our competition. Nobody else is doing what we're doing. So we say we don't have direct competition, but we do know that people still use videos on their websites. And I don't know how many times you go to a website and you have to watch it be downloaded, and you have to, and for the person that's uploading it, there's time. And not everything has to be a video. So our competition, again, is a single image, which won't be read by a screen reader, or a video, which then will be, you'll be able to hear it, but you have to wait. Sometimes it buffers. This is our team. I think you heard most of the people tonight. We have me. I'm the founder. I came up with the idea. I should say I'm the originator. And so it was really founded by 3 of us, and we put our heads together and came up with it. And Jesse Collard, Taha Kadato, Simon Gong, Jen Collard is our interim CEO. We have Vesna Rafferty, and we have Dylan Rafferty. And our financials, the way it looks here, we will break even by about the 14th month after we get started. We figure it's going to take us 4 months to get our plugins fully developed to get to market. We're already in that process of talking it all through. We've already actually got some connections with the WordPress. We've talked with them, the North Texas WordPress group, and they've told us what they need and what would work. They're all really interested because right now, website owners, business owners are being sued. Now, why you say, well, there's an ADA law for website compliancy. Right now, last year there was, in 6 months, there were 1,027 lawsuits filed. That was in the first 6 months of last year. This year, there's doubling that. So we're seeing on the average about 15 to 20 lawsuits a day. We're working with a group called Accessible 360, and they're out of Minnesota. And what they do is they're the ones that the companies go to once they get a lawsuit. That's Marriott, Target, a few other ones, big companies, even a couple of government agencies have gone to them. And what they do is they actually audit the entire site. They go from top to bottom, and Aaron Cannon is the founder, and he listens to the entire website, and he gets to stopping points because he can't get past that page. Well, he can't order anything. He can't do any business online. So who does that hurt? First off, you're going to get sued, most likely, if one of these people that's out there looking for sites to sue. And then you're going to lose potential customers because they just got frustrated. I know if that was me and I had to hear that and I was hungry, I would have already, oh, well, I don't know what to do. I guess I'll call something in somewhere and get it delivered. But if you're looking online and you want to experience the full experience of being an online shopper, then you need to have somebody describing what you're actually seeing, what's actually in front of you. So we're looking at our financials here. Back to our financials. I kind of get off on there because I could talk about here all the time. So by the end of the 3rd year, we should be running about $30 million. We should be earning about $30 million, the way we figured it. Because we're going to grow pretty quick. Because businesses don't want to be sued, and they don't want to lose customers. And then if you are a business, I would ask you, why not? Our pricing for this will be 5 licenses for one publisher. It would cost them about $189. And at that rate, we would need to sell. Oh, I think I passed it earlier. 19,749 licenses before we broke even. And we're looking at selling that. And right now, I think in the United States alone, there's multiple groups. North Texas, actually Texas has one of the largest WordPress groups in the country. So we're going to talk about other ways See Here will make money down the road. Our first one will be the ADA. Our second one, we're going to go for the medical. The medical, how many people go to the doctor, get an X-ray, MRI? It's a high-resolution digital image. Now, what if that doctor could just voice record, goes right into the image. He then sends it to another doctor. The doctor looks at it. He records back in the same image, and it'll actually append. And with that, the technology that we're developing is so that it'll have the sound of the doctor, which will be voice verified because most hospitals already have that, and it will have to pull out the text So it'll say when they were, where they were, what hospital, who it was, what doctor. They're already, when they go into an operating room or wherever they go into to do their x-rays, they will have to either touch the screen or their retina or their voice. And then that's their pass to get in. They're verified. So then you know it's your doctor that actually, gave the report. That's one place in medical. Then we're looking at doctors being able to communicate. I believe that it was Jeff was talking about telemedicine and being able to connect with your doctor. So what if you had to just take a picture and you could send it to that doctor right away and say, look, I've got this terrible rash on my arm. That way the doctor could actually see it at that point in time, and it would come from you. He would see it, then he could voice record right back into it. Then he's not having to sit right there in front of it. And many doctors are already doing that. They're already using Skype. But this actually kind of helps the doctor, because I'm working with a doctor right now, Dr. Jeffrey Edelglass. And he looks at it as saying he does surgeries on women's faces, and what he plans to do with it whenever it gets fully developed, he will voice record after he gets an image from one of his customers, or ladies who have their face, or men who have their faces worked on, and they have like some rash or scarring or some concern after surgery. They can take a picture. He doesn't have to be sitting right there. He doesn't have to be waiting by the phone for them. They can just send him the picture. It'll come right to him. He can look at it. He can just, it's a good picture. He can call her if he needs to call her, or say, go to the doctor, go on into the office, or let me order you some cream for that. So that's another way of telemedicine using our technology. So we'll go back to who we're going to license to. WordPress users and Adobe is who we're also looking at. We're talking with a couple other or larger companies as well. I can't really say who those companies are yet because we are live streaming. So anyway, this is C here. And what we're looking for is $660,000 with a potential of maybe another $340,000 to come in if we need it. But we believe that we won't need it. We believe that we will start seeing revenue at that point. After 6 months, we'll start seeing it starting to build. And that's C here. Thank you.
Good job. You're in the hot seat for questions.
All right. Thank you for the presentation. It's an exciting, awesome concept. Do you have a prototype that works?
We sure do. And I believe I have someone that can download the link right to the website right now as we're speaking.
If you had the $660,000 today, how quickly would you have it operational?
4 months.
Pretty sure about
Pretty
that.
sure that we know we've already done most of all the legwork. We just can't. We've got to hire some developers. Finish it out.
What would the investor get for his $660,000?
Our shares of stock are at 50 cents a share, and so basically at 660, you'd be looking at 1.2 million shares, and so that'd be 12% of the business.
And when do you think he'd get his money back?
Well, that's what you would get the money back after we start making revenue. What you see, we're going to start making profit. We turn a profit in 14 months. That's the way we calculate it, by just looking at what we're doing. And so at that point, you would have your money back.
And what do you see as your 3 biggest challenges?
3 biggest, always money. That's always an issue. And the biggest challenge, 3, I think the other one would be finding the right developers. But I know that we have someone on our staff that's connected in that world in a bigger way than me. And the other challenge I would see is being able to move as quickly or bring in the people we need as quickly as fast as it's going to grow.
Do you anticipate selling it directly to the consumer?
We can't, yes. That's what we'd be doing through the WordPress, because many people can actually, if you go to GoDaddy, they have WordPress on their site you can use. So if they had templates or the plugins,
So
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. If they had the templates or the plugins, they would actually be able to pay for a license at that time. And $189 compared to $90,000 in a lawsuit is a lot cheaper. So.
Thank you very much. That's all I'm at.
All right. I'm unclear. How do you make money?
How do we make money? License. We're going to license the product
To who?
to Adobe. We're going to use a WordPress plugin. We're developing the WordPress, and they will actually purchase a license for $189 a year.
To Adobe or to the end
No,
user?
to the end user. That's WordPress users. Adobe is the other market space we're looking at, which is about 12 million people using Adobe for their Photoshops.
Okay, so you're proposing licensing it to the people that are would be building the Photoshop.
That would be
Using their
Adobe.
software,
We would
and
have
then-
to make a deal with
And
Adobe.
then to the WordPress users. Okay. And for those enterprise licenses, what's the model there? Is that per user? Is that $1 million for
Okay.
closing one enterprise license?
Okay, so if it's a WordPress developer, website developer, he may have 5 or 6 customers. Then he will then have to buy a license. He'll buy one license for 5, and those 5, and he will, offset his cost to pass that back on to them. But we would be licensing it to him, and then he would, at that point.
Okay. You mentioned lawsuits.
Right.
You seem to think that's going to drive your business. Do you think that, say, the kid that creates a video series on skateboarding is going to get sued for not having a compliant website?
He's not selling a product.
Okay. And so it's anybody that, well, what if he sells a T-shirt?
If he's selling T-shirts and they can't, I think that it actually the company has to make so much per year, and we're talking Marriott Hotel, they got sued. We're talking Target. We're talking Winn-Dixie.
Well, and that actually drives at the question: what
Right.
triggers the compliance requirement?
I didn't write the law, so that was the government's thing. So what it is if a blind person goes to a website, and it's, say, Winn-Dixie, because they were recently sued, Winn-Dixie, and they were given the opportunity to fix their site. At that point in time, they said, well, we're not going to do it. They can just come into the store. Well, they actually still had to pay the government, or pay for the lawsuit, pay the guy, and then they got fined because they weren't in compliance with the ADA, and then they actually got a lot of bad press because they said the blind guy can just come shop in the store.
Okay. So of those 85 million websites that are WordPress based, what portion of them would be, in your estimation, non-compliant?
Most of them.
Most of them.
Most people's websites, most sites today, we just had our site audited. We weren't compliant. We thought we were because we turned on all the little points. But there's things inside a website that once a blind person can't get to the next page or place an order, then you're not compliant. And that would usually, it's a picture or the shopping cart or the next link. You're only given a description of what's flat on the page. It's very linear.
Okay. How did you come up with the $189 price point?
We base it on, basically, because we look at all the other items that are out there that are available for us to license. We looked at all the different, we looked at Adobe, which is a lot more than $189. We looked at Dropbox. We looked at all the stuff that we already currently pay for, what the market says that we could. Now, there might be some flexibility there. We might need to go lower. We might, need to go way lower. We might need to break it up to single users for 2. But we're thinking 5 for a WordPress website developer. And we talked with them and we said, what would be too high? What would be, about the right price? What were you willing to pay? And that's how we came up with it.
Okay. Back to the lawsuits. Who brings the lawsuits? Is it the Federal Trade Commission? Is it private individuals?
Private.
Okay. And are you recruiting people to begin these lawsuits?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, no.
So what motivates someone to bring a lawsuit then?
Well, there's groups of blind individuals who actually, it was very interesting to me to find out how it's happening. They actually sit down and sit in front of their computer and they go to website. They start with the major companies, your Macy's, your Sears. I don't know if Sears isn't even around anymore, but all the restaurants, because most of them access restaurants because they want stuff delivered to their home because they don't get out and drive and they don't want to have to pay for a taxi if they get it delivered. So they're actually sitting and they're looking at websites.
Okay, so is this the online equivalent of the ADA drive-by, you don't have a accessible front door, we're going to sue you thing?
But here's the deal. They're given time to fix it.
Okay.
Everybody that gets that lawsuit is given an opportunity to fix it.
Okay. So now let's go to the investment side.
Okay.
Were you describing convertible debt or pure equity on the investment?
It'd be pure equity.
Pure equity, okay. And did I hear you right that the investor starts getting some money back once revenue exceeds some minimum amount? Is that just a
We would be doing dividends, I
distribution?
believe, at the end of each year.
Okay. And who do you anticipate are going to be the early adopters?
WordPress users.
WordPress users.
Yes.
Why?
Because we're already meeting with them. So.
Okay. Last question. There were a lot of people on the staff when you went through who's involved. How many of those are receiving a salary?
None of us are right now.
Okay.
So, this is our passion. So.
Are they promised a salary?
Yes.
All right. And what would the burn rate be if they were entitled to a salary?
Okay. The way we figured it for the first 4 months, we're going to need that 660. So we're looking at right around about 125,000 a month.
And would that achieve your development and your
That
go-to-market
would achieve
goals?
the market, yes, market development, salaries for some of the staff members, and to get us to South by Southwest as well.
Did that include the $500,000 for patents that I saw?
That's after we start making revenue. We still owe our patent attorney over there, so, but not 500,000. We know that that's for both legal and accounting. We want to protect our
Professional
patent.
services.
Right.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So some people who navigate websites use translators to translate a website into a different language.
Right.
How would this be conducive to being able to translate it into a different language?
We're working on that one. Actually, we are. We've talked about that. We want to be able to do it in other languages and have it so that it will identify it and then be able to go to that. Because I suspect that if a person is going to a website and they're asking for it to be in Spanish or Russian or whatever language, they already have theirs preset and it's automatically going to do it. We've addressed that issue, and that's part of our development this time.
So how would somebody who is recording the audio that should be said with the image record it in different languages?
It would have to recognize the language
Okay.
and be translated.
How would the screen readers that people use now be able to detect that there is an audio file to
Okay.
be
That's where
played?
we're using Accessible 360. Aaron Cannon is pretty much renowned in this area. He actually is going to work with us to be able to identify the markers that help identify when that picture needs to be read for the screen reader.
Okay. Do you happen to have a letter of intent from any of those companies that you were talking about?
Not yet.
Okay.
We just got our patent in December, and we didn't really put a whole bunch of push forward with businesses until we got that patent. So we just got it December 12th. So it's been almost a month and a few days.
And what is your go-to-market strategy?
Go to market. Okay, we're going to go to WordPress. We're going to build the template and the plugins. And
How are you going to get the word out?
Well, we're already meeting with the North Texas WordPress Association, and we have someone already on our staff who is associated with the international president of WordPress, and she's actually going to be meeting with him pretty soon.
So is WordPress going to advertise this?
They're going to be the ones. We will be going to their functions, and we'll be promoting See Here through them, through their contacts, their users, and then from there, once we get into North Texas and we get the plugin, we make it available, we advertise through them, through WordPress, or because they have luncheons and events all the time. They have user groups.
Okay. I think that's all I have.
As I said last time, this continues to be a hot point at any seminar, any conference that I go to. It's an issue. People are getting sued. It almost sounds overwhelming. You're not a full solution, though. You're just part of the solution, right? Solution. So somebody has to come in and still be able to translate everything. This just allows them to do the photos?
Well, right now, if you were to go to a website, they have turn-on buttons, and there is no turn-on buttons for pictures, for images. So whenever they have all those buttons turned on, there's one thing lacking, that's images. We're that little piece of the puzzle. We're not going to solve the whole issue, but we're solving that one part of the issue. And usually it is the image that gets them caught up, because the little icon that's on the shopping cart icon, if it's not recognized, if they put it in as a JPEG, it won't be read. And it's just because it's a picture.
Have you raised any other money?
Yes, we have.
How much have you raised?
We're just under $200,000.
So is the 660 an addition?
Yes.
Okay. And how much have you or your family members put in?
Close to, if you count sweat equity, I don't know if you can count that or not, but actual cash, close to 30.
30,000?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you looked at government grants to cover a big chunk of this?
Well, we haven't yet. We've thought about that. We've actually talked about it. But because we are going to be for-profit, that might be an issue. I'm not sure. And we would have to hire a grant writer. So that's another expenditure that we have. And we will eventually go, if we're going to go down that whole ADA, the full part of it, and then we go into the medical end of it, we most definitely will be asking for a grant.
Okay. I still think grant money, well, that's advice, I guess. We will go to the advice stage now. So turn the key on your mouth, and John, it's your turn.
Thanks, Charles. You know, I hate to see you sell the right to sell it. I'd rather see you maintain control yourself of marketing sales. You talked about selling to Adobe or WordPress. I'd like to see you keep that right yourself. I think what you need is not an investor. You need an investor partner, someone that has got deep pockets, that maybe has got whole golden handcuffs, is retired, bored, and has passion for this and has a lot of experience in the industry. And let him come in and help you on a full-time basis. He can invest his own money and work a deal with him to get it back. Then you've got someone with experience and contacts to take this thing and run with it. You're going to need, in your financials, you're going to need a chart of exactly what the cash is going to be used for and when. And that's important. I think that in raising capital, you might want to consider going to a third party who can raise it for you, someone that's done it, that knows the industry, and can structure a win-win for every one of you. I see a huge demand for this by consumers. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a tremendous consumer product. I'd like to see a package that could be sold to a distributor, much like Flickr or they do, where they could start using what you offer on their own for their own use. either business and or personal. Okay.
Several thoughts. I think you're limiting yourself when you consider the market as potentially just people that are sight impaired. I think what you are defining is, on a meta level, a different internet experience for people that go visit your websites. And I would sell that as a feature, something that empowers you as the content creator to get better content to the people that like it. I also think you're really missing your go-to-market. I think $189 as a license fee, nobody likes paying license fees. You know, big companies hate it. They'll call you a patent troll or a slip and fall person. Yeah. For the content creators, they're paying, you know, for elegant themes. Divi, which is the most common theme in WordPress, is about $49 a year, and you're asking for 3x what they're paying for, you know, a WordPress theme, and you're just running into headwind after headwind after headwind. Why don't you step into the shoes of, say, AdWords, and start building digital, you know, audio ads that fit in place between this, you know, the visit and the content at some location. You know, Google has what, 98.9% of their revenue coming in through AdWords. Take a clue from Google; they did something right. I think on your presentation part, you did a great job of saying this is the problem, right? There it is. I'll take something I think John was implying, which was the solution didn't ring because you didn't play the prototype, or didn't play even a vaporware, you know what I mean, a fake version of what the prototype would be. I think giving that vision of where you're headed, if you're not there yet, is what makes your use case compelling. And I kept waiting to hear that. Outside of the AdWords business model, which is what I really think you should do, I think the Amazon and eBay acquisitions are just slap you in the face obvious. You said sales, right? It's required. How many Amazon vendors are there? Yeah. Oh, sorry. So if you want to take that route, that would be your acquisition exit strategy. If you want to try to be the AdWords for audio, that's your revenue stream opportunity. In terms of development money, small business innovation research grants, absolutely the way to go. And you'll find somebody to help you write a grant if they catch the vision and are on board.
So slide-wise, I don't know if I'm supposed to critique the presentation, but I felt like there was too much on the slides for the presentation. I couldn't read it. There's distracting, you know, images that are moving behind you when you're trying to talk, and so it's really hard to focus on what you're saying. Let's see. So when we were talking about the laws, I feel like that you need to know the laws. You need to know them like the back of your hand, because if this is the driving force that's driving your business, the need for your, you know, product, you've got to be able to say. There's actually, I think, 3 different laws that require your site to be accessible. I don't know them off the top of my head, but
There's a new one.
And so I should have organized my notes better. As a website developer by trade, or at least our company does that, I don't see like the need for me to use, you know, this product. It wasn't really sold to me well enough. I can see technical ways around the things that you said. Like I could put like just a little image on top of an image, you know, absolute position and image that if you click it, it plays an audio file. That wouldn't be hard to do just with, you know, normal HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Another thing is that like future vision for your product. there's different APIs that are out, like Google's Vision API, which will read an image and send it through what's called deep learning neural networks, and it will tell you what's in the image. I can search my Google Photos library for dog, and it shows me all the pictures of my dog. I would have liked to see that technology maybe incorporated into this, and maybe use it as like a Chrome extension or something like that, so that everyone can install the Chrome extension and it, read it. So that's just my ideas. You can pivot if you want. And one more thing, I kind of was distracted by the verticals that you were going into before you had established yourself in one. We were talking about, healthcare, and I would have liked to, I guess, seen you more established in the one vertical.
John works for a very large company and develops a whole lot of apps, so his view on it, certainly I would want to get other views to make sure you do have a market before you go. One thing that I repeat over and over in these things is that before I took on the J. Rogers approach to investing, I lost in every single angel investment that I did. Once I started doing the J. Rogers angel investing style, I used to say I haven't had any losses. I just had one in the last couple of months. But I've had a lot less losses, and his style is you have to have liquidity or you have to have control while your money's at risk. And so I would have troubles, as I've told you before, doing it without control of the company while my money's at risk. But hearing what John said, I'd certainly want to get other developers and make sure that you can sell them on the need now, and you may have already done that, and you get your 2 minutes to recap on all of this afterwards. But I know it's a need. I know it's an issue. I know a lot of people have to spend some money on their apps and their websites to get compliance, and lawyers are going to be getting rich in the meantime. So I think that the solution is definitely needed. We're going to go to the audience now. If you want to give advice, remember, no questions. Please stand up, face the camera, and make sure you have the microphone from Denise before you talk. Who's got some thoughts?
Advice? Neil, remember to hold the mic.
Thank you so much. Enjoyed your presentation very much. Like a lot of the ideas that you have. One thing, though, I would like to point out is I agree with John that it is John, I think. Okay, is that I know for a product that we have a thing called a voice pick, and we did it exactly the way you said. That's exactly how we implemented our voice pick, and it's not using up a lot of space as far as memory is concerned. That doesn't mean, though, that we wouldn't be interested in coming in with something that's even smaller in space and something that, especially if you're lucky enough to get it so that it became kind of a standard, then we would be very interested in switching over. But right now, what we have is exactly how John described, and we got around to actually some other patents that dealt with video and stuff like that, doing it exactly the way that he described. So anyhow, that's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Ken.
Hello, excellent presentation. I'm Ken. We hardly know each other, but a bit of advice. During my presentation, I might have maybe told everybody that you had someone upload a video of the actual use of See Here to the BoardRoom Live's message, so you could actually see the BoardRoom. You could actually see Here in action being uploaded, and so and actually the app being used and the batch processing being done. I also might have mentioned that you were going after possible integration with Adobe Experience Manager as one of the long-term goals, and then going after the enterprise market that way. And there's different costing models for that you can't really go into yet.
Right.
That's a unique way of getting extra information out there. I don't think I've seen that yet.
Creative. Anybody else? Anyone else? Advice?
Hi there. So I actually used to serve on the board of directors for a nonprofit that served the visually impaired. And I want to reiterate what some of the other advice that was given. I think that sometimes in our industry when we are so passionate, especially with the visually impaired, sometimes when we are presenting something, for instance, with your slides, we have to remember that we are speaking to those who probably aren't visually impaired. And so I agree in that I would reconsider your slides and maybe make them more, have them speak and resonate with those who aren't visually impaired. So they were distracting, they weren't interesting. I don't think that they really held your message that could have been more compelling. I think also as someone who does use WordPress, who has worked in the blogging industry for about 10 years, I think that you're gonna be hard pressed to have someone pay $189 a month. So I would just, my advice would be to do the market research on that.
One of their other employees probably has the message that it's only a one-time fee.
It is.
Anyone else? Okay.
I said one comment when you go into the visually impaired, and I've got one client that has an application. It's just an application for just going in and reading a QR code, and it's a data play. And this particular app, at 4 years, she's out on. She's making this goes about like $1 million a year just in data alone. Gives the app away, and she does a data play. It doesn't cost anything. And so that's one of the things that I think has to be considered anytime you deal with interfacing. And all this is just the blind. Just the blind, that's all she does. And it's an interesting play.
Anybody else? Gentleman in the back, almost back row there.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm part of the See Here team, and I just have, before I speak loud, want to ask our lawyer, are we allowed to talk about the indexing and metadata, or that we still have to cover our bases on that? All right. So one of the things that we haven't elaborated on is the file structure that we have. It also accommodates for being able to inject metadata, and which will allow us to index. So like, let's go back and talk about the verticals.
Yeah, that's too far.
Okay. Then let me not talk about it till we cover it, right?
Yeah.
Have one more.
Give away the good stuff. Where we're headed.
I'm going to carry on what he was saying about the metadata. So I think the point of the patent here.
Do you work for them too?
No.
No.
Okay.
No. Now I'm going to talk about it abstractly, because what their patent fundamentally covers is the ability to combine the data, in this case an image, with metadata. And right now, when you try and couple systems on the internet via APIs and whatnot, the metadata and the data are never connected. And so what the patent allows is the ability for the data and the metadata to be combined and to evolve over time, so that the data and the metadata are always combined, excuse me, and you can move them between systems, loosely coupled. And that's one of the key points that I think is missed in the presentation. But
I got a meta headache.
I'm not supposed to talk about metadata. Sorry.
Kimberly, did you want to?
I think you did a great job, but I want to remind you where they were talking about grants, that as a woman-owned business, if at least 51% of your business is woman-owned or woman-led, there are additional grants that you can get on that basis, and you can get free instruction. So I don't know how y'all have it structured, but I will tell you that Texas was just recognized as the #1 state for women-owned businesses. So you may want to change the structure of the business so that you can move it forward that way, and they are giving unheard of grant money to women-led businesses.
Anyone else have advice?
Anyone else?
Or comments?
I was going to say
Thank
exactly
you,
what
Kimberly.
you said, Kimberly. And Adina, thank you for your
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you.
Mr. Horton?
Then you have your 2 minutes
Okay.
to respond.
Okay. First off, the 189 isn't a month. It's a year fee. Okay. Oh, okay. Back over there. So it's not a month. Okay. Oh, okay. So you got after. I really do appreciate the advice you gave. I wasn't sure about the slides because these are the same slides we did. We're still telling the same story. I made a few adjustments, but I will readjust those slides because I will be speaking at South by Southwest. And so I've got a long ways to go before March 13th when I take the stage at 12:30 in the morning, 12:30 in the afternoon. So I appreciate the insight that you've shared with me. We can't talk about certain parts because we're adding to our patent. So I would love to tell you more because there is so many other possibilities. We are focused on the low-hanging fruit, which is the WordPress, because that's when we know there is a need for ADA compliant. And the fact that you can share that image afterwards and the sound goes with it and it's not having to be put back. So anyway, I appreciate everything and I appreciate the feedback I got from everyone here. Yeah, I do have a whole row over there of here. And they're not all staff. There's a lot of friends there. People here to support. So, and I appreciate Greg and Alan and everyone else who's come out here tonight to be with us.
Well, I know I love you and love all of you and want to see you very, very, very successful. Give her a big round of applause. So this is concluding our boardroom for this month. I should know the date for next month and I don't, so shame on me. Check our website and Facebook to find that out if we haven't said it yet. Denise, have we said that? Then we haven't even said it, so I don't have it to tell you anyway. So thanks for tuning in. We didn't do the selfie break earlier, so we're going to put on the selfie song. Get your cameras out, take pictures with people. That lasts about 2 minutes, and then we'll have some drinks and food up for you in just a minute. So thanks for coming, and here comes your selfie.